When you introduce your character by name, what do you think the other players hear? When they say your character's name to get your attention, what do you hear? Hello, I'm Joshua of Milestone Play. I'm a professional game master, and today we're going to talk about names and what they mean to us. This video is inspired by a conversation I just had with a trail hiker while I was attempting to do a video for my side channel, MP Sidetrek. You can go ahead and find the entire interview I had with that hiker over there, but for now, we're going to talk a little bit more about character names, what we want out of them, and then a little bit later on, we'll get to a snippet of that interview. For now, let's talk about names. When you say a character's name to your players for the first time, you are introducing them. It does not matter if the character is not in the scene or if they will never meet the character. Hearing the name is the cover that they will judge the book off of. It doesn't matter whether it's a role-playing game, a video game, a book, a play, a movie, a TV series. Names are how we learn about characters, and writers spend a lot of time agonizing over them. Yeah, so a pro GM tip, you're going to have to come up with a lot of names. Most of them don't actually matter that much. Use a random name generator. It saves so much on mental processing. But for the major characters, that's where this really matters more. Names carry with them a lot of information. Some of it's cultural, some of it's connotation. If I tell you a character's name is Wolfgar, you may be picturing a little bit more of a Nordic Viking vibe to the character, where a Hamish may come across a bit more English, a little bit more hobbity, a little bit safer. A character named Graddock might be pictured as stronger, more formidable, while a Raieo might be a bit more suspicious, or stealthy, or slinking. If you're playing a dwarf, you might be going with something a bit more Scottish or Gaelic, Irish, maybe Nordic or Russian. Whatever cultures you associate with that species within the fantasy world. If you're doing a more elven character, you're going to have a longer name, you're going to have a lot more softer I-E vowels, and you're going to put those vowels right next to each other, requiring you to use an apostrophe, because that is how elven names are written. If you're playing a knight, you may take names like Sir Lancelot or Sir Galahad and then adapt them. While if you're playing more of a wizard, you might want to go something more highfalutin. The name that you choose has all of these ideas packed into it, but also the name you tell your fellow players gives them ideas without you having to describe anything else. As a game master, I will hide information in a character's name for multiple reasons. First and foremost, it might be just to help generate the name. If I'm having trouble coming up with the name of an important NPC, I'll go into Google Translate, find a culture I think is appropriate for some narrative reason, and then I'll just throw in words based off of that character, based off of their hopes, their desires, their plot line, and I'll throw them in there. I'll get a random word in a different language, and then I'll adjust the word a little bit to make it not the exact word, but in the same family of sounds and appearance. Now I'll also go ahead and just take a word I already know and change it. For my Gen Con game all about a wild magic wizard, his name was Entros Degener. His name is literally Entropy Degenerate. And that is because it's easy for me to come up with. I don't have to waste mental processing power on it and still have it be related to the character. But also, it just helps me remember it. I don't have to remember 1,000 random names that aren't associated with the NPCs and with the monsters and with the items. It's related to the idea that surrounds the entire concept. So use easy things. It's okay to do things to make your job easier as a game master, especially when it comes to giving names. I am also guilty of taking scientific terms and using them to make names. Recently, I had some players fight a black dragon named Antiflormos, the Primordial Return. Now, the title, Primordial Return, is all about acid, black dragons, melting stuff down. Antiflormos, that's just based off of fluoroantimonic acid, one of the greatest acids that we have in chemistry. In the Everstorm Sea, I have a giant, dire Portuguese man-o'-war creature that just will kill anything that falls overboard into it. It's called a Physalia, based off of the scientific name. I've also needed the name for a giant ice porcupine. It's an Erithizon. Once again, just using scientific family names for my own monsters. It's easy. It's related to what I want it to be. I'll remember it sometimes. Clearly, I remember it now. Now, all of this discussion is from the outside in. It is you, the writer, either of the game, the story, the character, you providing a name that you want other people to hear. You want other people to think things about when you say the name to introduce your character. But what if it's the other way around? What if it's the character naming themselves? Within current D&D, tieflings have a habit of taking a virtue name. If you're familiar with Critical Role's The Mighty Nein campaign or animated series, you've likely met Jester. Jester has given themselves that name as a tiefling cleric to a trickery god. They want to be a jester. They want to make people smile. They want to make things easier for people. They want to lighten the mood and make sure that other people don't feel the negative feelings that they do. Now, this is where we get into my conversation with the thru hiker, Chance.
Hey guys, I'm Chance. I'm a Pacific Northwest trail hiker.
One of the things we were talking about just before we got out of the car was the idea of personas and names. You have introduced yourself by your trail name, Chance.
Yes.
And you had asked about if there's any crossover between my job as a professional game master and playing role-playing games and taking on those personas at the table, and thru hikers taking on a different name for the experience. In college, I actually minored in anthropology, and I did an honors thesis on living vicariously through yourself, on live action role-playing being a means of testing out ideas of who you want to be. Whether it's beliefs in philosophy, in gods, in substances, in courage and cowardice, in standing up for yourself, standing up for others. The idea that as a role-playing character, you can practice different aspects that you want to have in your life to experience things in a different way. With that experience of living vicariously through yourself, what do you think of that phrase as a thru hiker, living vicariously through yourself?
I think there are parallels for sure. I come at this from more of a philosophy background, and some of your viewers may know Viktor Frankl, and others from the psychology background who talk about the hierarchy of needs, like Maslow's needs. And something that really got me to choose my trail name, Chance, was the idea of being aware of your own sentience, self-awareness, and that all happened in a moment of really on-trail chance. And I wanted to hold on to that, so I needed a name, a trigger, to remind me whenever I hear someone call my name, Chance, to be present in the moment, because that's how I found that we can be more in tune with our own sentience, which is not a common word these days, but I think it's like you were saying, being able to experiment with your mindset, it gives you that chance to accept whatever comes through you in time as okay, rather than trying to control everything that's coming at you.
The idea that you have chosen a name based off of how you want to react when other people say it, I find very interesting.
Okay.
In role-playing games, when people choose a name, there can be a bunch of reasons for it. Some people can choose a very simple name or a name similar to their own because they don't want to have to think about like, oh, are you talking to me? Some people can choose a name that like very much embodies the type of character they want to play. And there's a little bit of that, but in my experience, if you're taking a very strong name or you're taking a very erudite name, it's more of a fantasy of like, oh yes, of course I am this person, where
alter ego,
very much alter ego-esque, but I think you've taken that a step further in the idea that like it is a reminder. Every time you hear it, it is a reminder of what you want to be doing, how you want to react to things. In more modern Dungeons and Dragons, there is a species you can play called a tiefling. An aspect of kind of the written culture of them in the base game is that they name themselves, kind of like when they come up into puberty, they can choose a name based off of a virtue that they think embodies who they are. And so based off of chance, I'm very much getting kind of a virtue name. That is my kind of interpreting of the situation, where not only is it, you know, this alter ego of what you want to be, but it is this constant reminder to you and those around you that are in the know, as opposed to just, I want to be Sir Galahad.
Yeah.
There's tones with Sir Galahad, but we're going beyond tone. We're going a step beyond just how we want to feel, as this is a constant cue in, which I think is really fascinating. So we've taken it one step further. This is not just what do you want other people to think about when they hear your character's name. This is not what does your character think of themselves. This is what do you want to think about when you hear other people say your character's name. What do you want to experience? What do you want to be reminded of when other people call out to your character? Are they calling out to you, the player? Are they calling out to your character? And if they're calling out to your character, what does that make you feel? What does that make you think of? Does that make you want to be that character? Does that make you want to be what they're supposed to be all about? I don't know. Leave your comments down below about what you think about naming characters, whether it's your own, whether it's NPCs, whether it's the world about you. Just let me know what you think about naming, and have a lovely